ReZero is back, folks. Hype levels through the roof. I have been eagerly anticipating the return of ReZero, and what a fantastic episode to start this new little segment on. And yes, we got our Priscilla scene. Yes, we got our Priscilla scene. The first minutes of the episode just popped on there, and I'm like, I knew it was coming because I seen the screenshots they released, but I wasn't expecting it literally at the beginning. And chef kiss. Priscilla, you are a beauty. Priscilla, you're a beauty. And my gosh, Liliana the entire time geeking out was so freaking hilarious. But besides that, we'll get into that in a minute. But yes, the rest of the episode was fantastic. A lot of little lore drops in there. A lot of moments of kind of like, did they just say what I think they said? There's a couple little sprinkles here and there of some really good insights, but damn, my heart sunk the moment that that cloak got ripped off. Yes, finally the confirmation that she's in fact Teresa. The moment that he cut her cloak, I'm like, oh, my boy, that's going to be some critical impact there. That's going to be some critical impact. I mean, he was still fighting, but still. Anyways, let's get into the episode proper. Like I said, opening up right off the bat with the Priscilla scene and Liliana, which was absolute chef kiss. Now, yes, I wasn't expecting it to get as visually spicy as the light novel art was, but for an anime adaptation TV broadcast, they showed way more than I thought they were going to show. I mean, a lot of oob, a lot of underboob, which I was all for. But I think the great thing about that entire scene is really just Liliana's response, because let's face it, Liliana is all the people that are like me that are Priscilla lovers. Like they see what they like and they like what they like. Like, she's going, do you think I need Al? That was the funny thing, because she's like, do you think we should bring Al with us? Because we probably need more help. And she's like, no, he's just a jester. And do you really think that I need her? She's like, no, you have pretty large-sized goddess boobs right there. Liliana's great. But no, there was a little bit of insight in here into Al himself, which is the idea that she was pointing out that Al keeps a lot of things secret. I mean, we had Anastasia obviously coming, and she's like, wow, what'd I walk into? But she walks in, she's like, yeah, we're unguarded here. And she's like, well, just use Al however you like. You like to keep things secret. So she's already pointing out that, yes, Anastasia, you keep a lot of things secret. You're a sly little fox, whatever. But she's also noting the fact that Al himself keeps a lot of secrets as well. Which I think this goes to my theory that I had before in the previous half of this entire season, which is that I'm starting to pick up on that Al is something. And my current prediction is that because we've seen that little brief shot of his visor, he looks a lot like Subaru. There's indication that, yes, it seems like he knows Beatrice. I'm thinking that he's somehow tied into Subaru. And I think my current theory is that he's possibly playing out this timeline again, similar to Subaru, but he's detached from him. And that, yes, I think in this timeline, he's trying not to let Emilia win in the end, and so he's supporting Priscilla. Or at least he's working with Priscilla in order to kind of, work in the same timeline, the same happenings, but not directly under Emilia. And so, yes, he's keeping a lot of secrets from Priscilla. And I think that she's noting that. Priscilla is noting that Al's always around me, but he's always keeping this thing a secret. He's working on something, but he's not telling me. He's always keeping something from me. So I think that's what she's sort of implying there, is what Al's doing. And I like the idea of, yes, knowing that he's a jester. And who was Subaru? Subaru's pretty much a jester. So it's compounding on top of that theory that I have around Al and Subaru. But again, really good little scene here. Super spicy. I like how the moment that she goes to put on her dress, her battle outfit, you can see like Liliana's over there like, oh, like her expression goes from like super excitement because, Priscilla's got to lean over in order to lift that up. So she's getting a full shot. And then the moment that it gets over, it's like, oh. It just immediately cuts it off. Liliana's super thirsty for her. But no, keep him from the perspective. Yes, they eventually go off to, run into Wrath. She's like, we're going to face it head on. We're not going to play any tricks. We're going to go straight into the battle. And yes, sure enough, they are confronted by Wrath. But it was interesting because right here, Priscilla is pointing out that Kiritaka would be okay. Like, the goal of the cultists is to find this stuff, find the bones, the remains of this witch, so they're not going to kill the Council of the Ten. So Kiritaka should be fine. Now, after Liliana points out, then why are they taking them out left and right? Priscilla says, well, that's because there's probably somebody else that's trying to sabotage the archbishops. The archbishops are after the witch, and they need the council in order to do that, and somebody's taking out the council so that the archbishops don't have that. The witch's cult cannot use them if they're dead. And so again, that kind of, I don't know that if that'll be Al. It could be Al. If he's trying to prevent whatever is happening from happening, he might actually be going for them. Because Al's the only one out of everybody, unless there's another third party that you're not aware of yet, or possibly maybe one of the other of the cult of witches might be trying to sabotage them. The only one I can think of is Al. Unless, again, at some point, just the rug gets pulled out from underneath us, and, oh yeah, by the way, this other character who we haven't seen up until now, Julius is doing it, or, some other random person is doing it. I think it might be Al, because we did see Al at some point, taking down some of the cultists, and he may have been doing it during that time, when he was looking for Priscilla. And even now, he's not with Priscilla. Like, he just seems like he's just doing his own thing. But we'll see. But that's unfortunately all we get of Priscilla and Liliana and the Wrath thing. From Otto's side, yes, we do see that he is currently looking for the guy that was working on the Book of Wisdom. We get a little brief shot that it seemed like Anastasia was going to stop him, but she acknowledges that Otto is going to, essentially, that's his task, is to go look for that book. I know they want that book, you go look for it. But no, he ends up running into Felt, who's in front of Lai. Now, this is a very interesting thing because we got a few things gathered from this. One, that he was going to try to barter with Lai in order to help him find Subaru, because it seems like Lai really badly wants to find Subaru. I want to know where the person is that broadcast this. Your hero. Your hero that requires somebody to support him or he'll fall apart. Which, yes, does kind of play into what Subaru was essentially telling everybody. I need your support. I can't do this alone. I'm not that powerful. I have taken one down. I can do this, but I need your support. So it's kind of almost like he was playing into it, and I'm kind of curious if Lai right here just really craves to eat Subaru because whatever this hero is proclaiming on the broadcast is going to be really tasty. It seems like anything that's going to be, out of the normal, something that's going to be very special. Yeah, you're a crafty person. I want to consume you because you're probably really tasty. But we also indicated that Lai doesn't like merchants. Merchants specifically, because the moment that he tells that Otto is a merchant, that, I'll give you Subaru, just please, spare my life, he knows immediately right there, you're a merchant. Only a merchant would say something like that, always bartering with lives, treating them like they're all currency in order for you to, line your pockets. It does kind of indicate a little bit of a trauma that is within Gluttony, specifically the Archbishop of Gluttony, in the idea that it seems like he doesn't like merchants because they're greedy like that, which does technically make sense to me if it does turn out that Lai, or possibly Roy as well, them as a whole, whatever they were before they were archbishops, maybe they were somebody that was exploited, or somebody that was a casualty of the exploitation of a merchant. That's kind of where I'm thinking they're kind of going that direction. Or, and this plays into what we see from Roy's perspective, which Roy is being confronted by Ricardo and Julius. Roy brings up something very curious. Because, yes, Julius is like, let's go out from the beginning. Let's just hit him with everything we got. Don't hold back. And sure enough, they go to attack. And the moment that he fires something at Roy, Roy says, "It's wonderful how true to form you are, Lord Brother." Question mark? Question mark? Question mark? I don't know if that would be Joshua. Joshua was his brother, right? I don't think he was a cousin or anything. I think he was his brother. It could be somebody else as well. This is one of those moments where I'm probably, after recording this, I'm probably gonna go back and double check. But I don't think that they brought up anybody else of Julius's family, and so my assumption would be Joshua. I don't think that Roy is related to Julius and that he is bringing back these memories from before he became what he is. I think what this is implying is that when these individuals, the Archbishop of Gluttony, whenever they consume people, they can bring about their memories because they love the memories. They love consuming things. And I'm kind of wondering if they can then tap into those memories and say lines from them. And that's kind of where I think it's going. And that could be the thing that's going on with Lai. That Lai literally is just pulling up memories of somebody that was exploited by merchants, and he's saying that, and it's just coming out there to reply to Otto. That's what I'm kind of thinking the direction they're going to go, is that whatever they consume, they tap into. Which sucks, by the way, if he ever taps into like Rem's memories or something like that, it's going to make me so mad. But I think that's where they're kind of going with that, is that I think they kind of tap into that stuff, and that's probably what he's pulling out to go after Julius with, which technically would make sense because I sort of question at some point what happened to Joshua. And so if Joshua is, I think for sure, let's just look. Yeah, he is his brother. So Joshua is his brother, And so I was curious at some point, because I remember Anastasia sent him to go to the gate in order to get a letter that was supposed to come there with information on Gluttony. And we haven't seen Joshua since then. I was kind of joking about the fact that I'm like, whatever happened with that whole thing? Like, they were supposed to get info, and he never see him again. This answers it. He consumed Joshua, and now he's tapping into his memories. So, oof. That's kind of a oof moment right there. Yeah, I'm curious how that's going to play out, but that's pretty much all that has to do with the Archbishops of Gluttony. They did kind of get a little bit there with Otto questioning them if they are both the same individual or whatever, but they didn't really answer it. He just basically said, oh, you know ourselves or whatever. That was about it. But that kind of confirms there that at least Otto is picking up on these being multiples. He even says something effective 2 or more. Like there could even be more of them. But no, Otto's response to fighting him is to summon a couple of Leviathan-looking things, like a sea creature dragon things. I'm like, what? Like, it feels like every single time he fights, Otto, like, summons something new that is even more powerful. And now apparently this. Not that I think it's going to do much to him, but still, it was kind of a shocker there. But it was also interesting that with the moment that he got there, I forgot about this, the moment that he got there, he turned to the guy and says, you're from the White Dragon Scales. Because I was kind of sus about Otto. I've always been sus about Otto. And I was kind of sus as to when he first got there, he ran into the Archbishop of Gluttony. And he somehow got away. And I was like, huh? How did Otto get away and end up with Felt? Like, how did he get... He's like, well, the White Dragon Scales helped me out there. I guess a different White Dragon Scales? a different of the personal guard over here? Sus? I don't know. I was kind of curious how he got away from that whole situation. And again, now as we ran into them. But yes, one of the 2 big oof scenes was, yes, of course, Wilhelm and Garf confronting Lust, which we quickly find out towards the later part for the other oof part that, yes, Lust isn't actually there. I'm assuming based on that last shot that Lust or Capella had pretty much created a cadaver, a other self that looked like themselves so they can, sneak away and do whatever they want to do. And thus they think that Lust is right here, but she's not really there. But yes, Wilhelm confronts what we find out and confirm his wife. And so, yes, the moment that he cuts off that hood, I was like, when she looked over, I'm like, ow, my heart broke for this dude. And it sucks because, yes, like when they first got there, he's like, yeah, that's going to be my wife. And, I thought that, I'd put her to rest, but this wicked being Lust has basically, brought her back and has made her a puppet, has enslaved her soul and is now puppeting her. It's a massive gut punch for him for sure. And yes, on the other side, Garf taking on Badigadi. Garf taking on Badigadi over here. It was interesting when he first goes to confront him, the guy literally like folds his hand behind him. I wonder if that's an aspect of almost like claiming that you're not strong enough for me to use all my arms. So I'm just going to put these 2 away, like a way of kind of spitting in his face. It could be an aspect of him doing that in order to strengthen his arms. But I think it's really him just kind of saying, I don't need these, which is really crazy. But yes, they're fighting for a while. We have a little brief moment of Garf kind of, once again, seeing Elsa. I continue to be terrified of Elsa, even though she is just a figment in his mind. But him kind of just, yes, once again, getting into the idea of, this is all I'm worth. My strength is all I'm worth. I can't let everybody else down. And continuously fighting. And yeah, at some point, Capella, Lust, this blob of herself, this fake blob of herself falls down upon Garf. And very briefly, we get a shot of somebody. He looks up and says, is it Lust? No, it's not. Very brief shot of what looked like something with a crown. And I'm wondering if that's possibly the original form of Capella. That Capella herself as Lust is using somebody else's appearance, but not necessarily her. Not of the princess Emerada. So I'm wondering if that brief shot was Emerada, the princess. Because it did look like she has some kind of crown on her head. We'll see. But yes, the rest of the episode is the confrontation in the church, which is a lot of fun. The opening segment of that was great because they're at the door and he's like, oh, you must be that sword saint. All I've heard of the sword saints that they're really good with their sword or whatever. And he's like, yeah, that's a really simple way of putting it, but I'm not really sure if I'm worthy of wielding this sword. It's the greatest sword in the world, which I don't think they've ever noted that, which is very interesting. The dragon sword that is apparently, of course, passed down from the Astraea family. He says it's the strongest sword in the world, but it has a flaw. It cannot be drawn. It cannot be unsheathed unless in the presence of a worthy foe. Subaru over here is just laughing his butt off while I'm laughing watching it. But there was like a brief moment of wondering, is he bluffing? Like, I could totally see this being Subaru tells him, you know, hey, I got a really funny way of provoking him. I don't know, unless Subaru just couldn't hold it in, because my gosh, Reinhard completely like sold that line. Like he just so flatly said it. It was just pure comedy gold. So I'm like, I wonder if possibly because he like laid it out so straight-faced, Subaru couldn't hold in. I don't think that's the case. I think it's literally that's how it is. Like the sword itself does not see him as a worthy foe and cannot be drawn. And so it's literally stuck because it does clink. And now that could be a release on there because some swords will have a release on it. But that would be hilarious if that was the case, is that literally he just made it up just to provoke him. It was fantastic. But yeah, there's a side of me that almost like misses this because Regulus, I get a huge kick out of whenever he does his Onosa. So like the moment that he said that, I'm like, I could hear him saying Onosa. He's always like, Onosa, look here. What are you talking about? But now we get a Regulus kick of Pebbles. Like I think that's Regulus's like key ability is just kicking Pebbles. Like he tried to kill Subaru, kicking Pebbles, knocked out his leg. But yeah, Emilia jumps in there with her little brief attack, which was cute, I guess. Good try, Emilia. I was a little bit mad last season that she had to wait for Subaru to show up, but at least she tried something. It was interesting because the moment that she goes to strike him, he's like, I'm glad that I chose to, you know, give up on you because you're just not worth me or whatever. You're not worth my pure heart. She strikes him with a frozen blade and it makes a clang noise, which I'm wondering if that's going to play into what he actually is, because they eventually get into this idea that we need to, you know, you need to keep him busy while we do our plan to try to figure out how to get rid of his invincibility, which I don't know if they ever imply that he has invincibility of some sort, but right here it's implying that, which I'm not sure if that's going to be the case because I think he got pretty battered when he was fighting Betelgeuse and them in the past. But it could be. I mean, it could be that that's his ability. I don't know who actually figured that out. But yeah, it plays into her literally striking his face, and it sounds like she's striking an object, not really necessarily his face. But yeah, I like how they run up there and literally his response is, step back because I'll fire at my wives. You're going to force me to have to take their lives and you're going to force me to have to do your bidding. Like, this guy's so twisted. Like, the whole conversation with him is so twisted. The idea that it always turns into something about, like, being an honest person and being cordial, and everything you do to me causes me to do bad things, that I'm not a bad person. I'm very civil, but whenever you make me do things, I do uncivil things, and thus it's your fault, not mine. It's just so weird. But that was also the thing that I noticed the moment they first come in, when the shot first opens up, which I probably didn't notice from the first half, is that, yes, these wives never look back. None of them do. Like, 184 is over here and she's looking towards them because she's already looking that direction. But all the wives, there's explosions happening. The door just got thrown at their husband and they just sit there. They do not move. Which, yes, does play into later on when 184 is like, literally, you know, do whatever you want to do, but we cannot move from the spot. I will not move from the spot because if I do anything without him saying so, his wrath will come upon us. Like, even to this point, no, we're not going to move because you're going to lose. He will come back here and he will kill us if we do something. So we're not going to move. Which does suck because even Subaru comes up later on and says, hey, look, until you learn how to say so what and get off of your butt and go run off, nothing's going to change. You're not going to see anything. You're going to be stuck here forever. I'm not blaming you. It's not your fault, but that's what you need to do. Later, we'll figure this out. The toughest person in the world, the Sword Saint's over here. He's going to handle it. Do what you want to do, but you need to move. And I don't know. I can see 184 possibly doing something. Maybe the others will follow suit if she does. But these girls have been terrified for probably so many years. Nothing's going to change. People have come for Regulus before. He's fought people before. Nobody kills him. We're not moving. We're going to stay here in our own little existence here, which really does suck. But yeah, when Regulus walks up there and says, okay, I'll join your quarry, whatever you want here. You know, don't harm her. What do you want? Okay, come over here. Put your weapon down. Come over here. While you're showing humility and grace coming up here, you have to take one hit without parrying or block it, and just swipes his hand and literally kills him instantly. Kills Reinhard instantly. He confirms it later. Literally, he died just from one wave of his hand, which, yes, he didn't block or parry it, but that was interesting because, yes, Subaru freaks out, starts to rush up there, and he's like, wow, you're so unrefined compared to your friend here. But Reinhard gets up, and initially I thought it was going to be like the dragon's blood, the blessing that the royal family had. But no, he eventually says that it's the blessing or divine blessing of the Phoenix. The Phoenix's divine blessing apparently revives him one time, which really sucks because like he got a free continue. He had a divine blessing of a free continue. Now, I don't know if he can possibly regain that blessing whenever he wants. Like he literally gains blessing just by going, hold on a second. Okay, I got another blessing. I don't know if he can get that blessing again, but it's pretty OP. Pretty OP. He's like, literally, I died and I just got revived. I don't want to die again, by the way. But no, I like the fact that, like, you know, they check up on each other and then immediately Subaru's like, wait, what happened to you? I thought you died. Oh yeah, I did die. Freaking Emilia's like turned around and goes, oh yeah, your wound. Are you okay? Just casually shows his pecs. Some good stuff there. Now, it was weird that Subaru chooses to save 184 when they first charge in. Now, granted, yes, Emilia was still being held by Regulus, but it's like, why did you go and like, I gotta save her, pull her away from there? Like, she's not going anywhere, just like all the other wives are not going anywhere. Why do you have to save her? Why would you not, you know, wrap around Emilia so that the moment that he releases her, he can pull her away? I'm like, dang, Subaru, it's gotta be the Seiyu. Maybe he likes 184 Seiyu more than Ria Takahashi. I don't know. And it's funny the moment that Emilia does get released, he's like, I'm so happy that you're safe. He's like, yeah, I knew that you were gonna come for me. I was waiting for you, whatever. And he's like, yeah, I was happy that you waited for me, whatever. And she's like, I can't get married to the person that I don't love. Of course I'm gonna wait. And he's like, oh, so about that person that you love. Oh, about your leg. Just completely sidesteps that whole conversation. Emilia's showing off some leg too. Girl getting bold. But yeah, he goes to fight Regulus. They hold him off until they can figure out how to get rid of the invincibility. Again, not really sure where they established that. They may have talked about it during that meeting. I just forgot. But I would assume it's probably going to be some sort of object. And I wonder if 184 might tell him. But yeah, it wraps up the episode with Felix, which is the other WTF scene in this episode. Not a good way to end the episode. The moment I heard those voices, I'm like, oh no, Capella's there. And nobody's there to guard them. Now, I think they're in the place which is considered their base, unless that was a different building. No, that was the same place, I think. So hopefully Al is there to protect him. So it should have Anastasia and Al there to protect him. It was odd when you first hear their voice coming in there. When Capella was first coming in there, it sounded like 184's Seiyu. I'm pretty sure that is Kaguya-sama. I'm pretty sure that's her voice, unless it's just kind of slightly off and I'm picking up something else. I don't know. That might just be that she, you know, she's in there to record lines for 184 and she just, you know, recorded that one line so that they had more for Capella. But that sounded like 184. I don't know. That's weird. But yeah, opens up the door. Felix turns around, realizes who it is. Ugh. I mean, it's easy to kind of come to a conclusion that I think Capella is there in order to take away Crusch. Crusch has been infected, and she's probably there to finish the conversion and make Crusch work for her. Which sucks, because I don't know any other reason why she would be there and why she would go after Crusch. So my hope is that the next episode opens up and Al pops in there. If Al stayed there. Again, Priscilla said to use Al however you like, and again, I think that's their base building. But we'll see. I don't want that. Anyways, I kind of seen this coming because I didn't really see Wilhelm and Garf being able to take on Lust. I think the idea of the two of them being sent to take on Lust was kind of absurd to begin with. I mean, Wilhelm is extremely strong, but they're going up against currently the past Sword Saint and this other dude that apparently grows as many arms as he wants, that apparently is supposed to be really powerful. Like, she has past warriors at her side. They weren't going to solo all three of them plus more. So I kind of expected that there was a chance that Capella wouldn't even be there. But anyhow, super hype episode. Lots to talk about. Really loved it. Hope you guys enjoyed this video as always. If you did, hit the like button down below. Comment. Let me know about the episode. As per usual, if you are a fan of light novel, I need zero answers from you. This is just fun speculation discussing what's happening in it. If I knew the answer to this stuff, it would be less fun. Less discovered as it plays out. But anyhow, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you like this content and you want to support the channel more, I have links in the description below. Greatly appreciate it does. Until next time, y'all take care.